Will you switch
Bernie, what's up, man?
Over?
Wait, I'm thinking of my game time picks here. We're using Code Kosar again this week. Wait,
I know Bernie sweats it out because I've watched playoff games with him.
Sweating it out. And I really, you got me fired up and motivated on the guards and your analysis of it, Coach Crawford.
Thank you.
Okay, and I don't at all want to seem like a suck up right now, okay, for agreeing with you, but you're spot on with that, and we hope we don't have that umpire who calls everything.
If they put him
that
behind
would be
home plate,
sinful.
The fix is in. He was awful.
Right.
Awful. Bernie.
There's no way he's pounding the plate, too, after the way he had success in his in game 2. So you're right. The patience.
Got to work the calendar.
Where we're going to be so fired up in game 5. That,
crowd's going to be nuts.
Well, younger players, too. You're going to want to do that. So your advice really should be kind of played out.
By the way, before we switch gears to football, one last stat that we haven't mentioned. With that win last night, the Guardians ended an 11-game 27-year streak in elimination games of losses.
I had said yesterday on the air, the last time they won an elimination game, Sandy Alomar was their catcher.
97 against the Yankees.
That is mind-blowing.
Right. And then they won the next day in the next game in game 5.
I also hear that stat, and I also immediately dismiss it because none of those guys are on this team.
Well, that's true.
So history stats, and Vegas does this too. Unless the Browns are 25 or 0-25 in Pittsburgh, then it kind of matters. But typically,
I knew about an 0-16 when I was a kid.
What was your record? You know off the top of your head?
I just know as a little boy growing up, we never won there.
Ever.
So but your record. Do you know your record?
He won there.
I won more games than I lost.
Probably the only quarterback.
I bet he is. The only Browns quarterback that has a winning record.
Didn't y'all beat them once 51-0? At Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I don't remember what I had for breakfast, but I do remember the opening game.
That was
1989. It was a 5-1 0 against the Steelers.
Was insane.
I went back and watched it because I just couldn't believe it. I said, bro, they beat them 51-0.
Who was their quarterback? Bubby Brister?
No, Mark Malone.
So Mark Malone was in like 85, 86, but then Bubby came, and then Neil O'Donnell was
Neil O'Donnell.
in the 90s.
None of those guys were any good, though.
No.
The Steelers were good then.
Yeah.
Steelers always built on great defense.
Yeah.
All right, enough of that.
This was my issue.
We got to start with the biggest question: is Kevin Stefanski making a mistake by not benching Deshaun Watson?
So, no is my short answer.
Okay.
And because part of it goes deeper, and I've said this in the spirit of being funny, okay, but also I kind of believe it's factual. And I'm not trying to get national quotes or for sure local quotes of ragging on anybody, but I really think it'd be hard for Jesus Christ to be a good quarterback right now in the system, and we really need to figure out who we are personality-wise right now, because and again, I've said this openly as about myself, and I don't say this to make it about myself, but I know at the end of my career in the mid-90s, I thought I had to be a shotgun spread quarterback because that's what the league called for and that's what was cool in that. And I was not as good at the end of my career as I needed to be. And I think right now, offensively, any team in the league that's doing spread all the time has a lot of challenges and issues, even if you're a good offense. And we're just not a good offense right now. So this spread offense, this kind of 2-minute approach is not working no matter who the QB is right now. So to me, it's more important, and I'm not even fixated on who's calling the plays, but I am fixated on what the personnel groups are and what the game plan is. And the game plans need to be as many healthy linemen and as many street tight ends as we have is to run the ball.
Why are they doing it this way, Bernie? Why are they doing it? If it's such a bad idea, which it seems like you're right, why are they doing it?
Go ahead, Bern. Just let it go.
So again, people say it's okay. We want to protect the quarterback. We want to make the trade look good. Okay, maybe beforehand that was a part of it. This is just about survival right now. Okay, I was at the game last week, watching it intently and seeing it and trying to see what you could do differently. And there's not much you can do differently in this spread, no matter who's QBing right now. So that reality hit me like a 2x4 in the face, and hopefully it hit the team and coaches with that, to where Deshaun and the guys around him, whether you like it or not, whether we think that's what you do best or I do best, it's right now what survival means. And the Eagles have a really good pass rush, yet they've only had 6 sacks so far this year. They're going to be teed up to rush the passer, and we need to, just to survive and have any chance at this game, have to minimize these spread formations.
You know, Bernie, the thing that you know, when I watch the All-22, and it just stands out like a sore thumb to me, is I don't know, as playing offensive line and defensive line, I don't know what they're teaching or what they're, like, it just seems as if they don't have rules when it comes to picking up guys. Like, you know, who's sliding in protection? Is the protection on the quarterback, or is it the center calling that out? When it comes to the run plays out of shotgun, I don't know, are they trying to duo, double team to the next play, or are they pulling backside guards? Or it just doesn't seem like there's a level of understanding of, this is how we're going to block this, and this is how we're going to get these yards. And it just seems like sometimes the offensive linemen don't even know who they're picking
So that's a
up.
beautiful question. I'm actually thinking now, I spiritually showed up for the production meeting at the beginning here to talk about this. And that's partly why I'm so desperately saying I'm all in on having to run the ball, because the pass game and the coordination that you need to pick up guys like that, we've been talking about it every week, and it's been a disaster, and it's getting worse. And we watched it get worse against a team in Washington.
Why, Vern? They were able to do that in the past. Is it Callahan's absence? Is it you're playing a shell game with your linemen with the injuries?
Well, we were playing a shell game with our linemen the last year in particular, and we kind of we all talked about how we were playing the shell game with the linemen. Yet Coach Callahan and that system did a great job with it, and the denominator now is he's not here, and the shell game is still needed, and it isn't working in this past game at all right now.
So you think his absence is felt?
Well, that's it. Again, just that isn't the issue, too, but it's
a contributing factor.
It is a contributing factor, and to that, I believe, isn't going to get fixed in 1 week. Those communication issues and how you pick up just a simple TT game or the TE game.
That's it.
Okay, and the backer comes, forget it. Everything's over then.
The operation shut down.
Right, so again, I don't raise the white flag and surrender often. Okay, but now I have. I surrender. That's not going to work in the short run. So in football, when you can't pass block, okay, and I can't finesse you, okay, it's okay, because it is a physical game, and you're allowed to not be religious and talk about hurting you. And that's what you could do. And I saw DeJuan Jones, where everyone's picking on him, okay, his footwork's not here. They say he's not hustling. I believe he's hustling, but I do believe they're thinking too much, okay? And when you're thinking too much, and I got a guy who's 350, okay, I know how to make him not think.
Well, that part's not him.
He ain't 350. He's 450.
Okay, I love it even more, because I watched him move around me, and I'd have him run people over.
That's what I'm saying.
And because now you don't got to think, and they're capable of thinking, but it's right now they're thinking too much and not reacting, and then we're getting a lot of the jailbreaks and Olay blocks.
Let them listen. It's hard as a pass rusher. You can't rush the passer if you're getting double teamed. If you're getting smacked in the mouth when we're running off tackle plays or we're running zone, those linebackers look real cute and they nice little high socks and all the cute little wristbands. But you notice they don't look that cute when you got guards on the second level, because we're running downhill at them. And I don't get it. Kevin he knows this. This is the point. He understands that he has to do this, but there's this disconnect of trying to continue to move I don't get
Well,
it.
again, it's now as the quarterback, it's Deshaun. Everybody needs to realize this is in my interest. Okay, yeah, I want to be 25 and I want to run the spread offense myself. Okay, but I can't. And now there's a time we got to realize who you are with that. And as I'm looking at you guys, the other thing too, why you kind of got to get into this running physical game, and I went on a little tirade like you did on the patience with the hitting and stuff, is on checkdowns and stuff. So in a physical running game, again, it's a holiday. It's Rosh Hashanah coming up, Days of Atonement. So hopefully I'll get atonement tomorrow for the sins I'm thinking today. Okay, in terms of physically hurting people. Okay, that's the only way you could change this tempo right now. And Philadelphia has doubts too. The Sirianni, Jalen Hurts stuff. Okay, so we got to put doubt in their mind, and you only put doubt in their mind by physically hurting people. Okay, and that's in the running game. And then this pass game, we saw this in Washington. We've been talking about it through the year. And I'm looking at you guys, okay, like I'm looking downfield, and we've done this on camera a couple times where you're looking downfield. And then in our checkdowns, you want to throw square ends, post, deep throws, intermediate. We don't see any intermediate. No. 9 to 14 yard crossing routes, square routes. We see the quick slant. And when you say, okay, we know we're getting pressure, so let's throw everything quick. Well, the defense knows that too.
Right.
So you've got to be able to master and figure out a way to get maybe an extra half second. And almost in the spread, almost all of our checkdowns for everybody, not just us with the Browns, is check wides, check swings, check arrows, check hitches out there, check smash routes. So here I am, I'm looking, I want to throw the post, I want to throw the square, and I want to throw an intermediate route. The jailbreak's approaching. I got to quickly leave right here because G. Bush is within 0.3 of a second of wiping me out, so I can't wait 0.2 to hit the square in coming behind your forehead. Okay, I got to give up, turn my hips, feet, throw the ball from the middle of the field, 17 yards to the sidelines, 51 feet, 2 yards downfield, 6 feet, to gain what, 3 yards? Okay, it's not worth it. It's torture. Yeah. Okay, and you get distracted. You get the demons in your head. Am I going to get wiped out? Should I bury my... I was too slow, so I knew I couldn't run, but an athletic quarterback, the demons in your head, do I drop my eyes and find a hole and run? And all that is happening right now.
At warp speed.
At warp speed. So, like, I have a big chip check-through philosophy, and we started implementing a tight end motion in the game last week against Washington where he came across the formation. Typically, you run away from that, and that guy's cutting off the backside in pursuit of it. This time now, he was motioning over to chip the defensive end and help in pass protection. Okay, that's great. Now, we got a chip with a meanness about you, okay, with an intent to hurt. I'm sorry. Okay,
knock him to the ground.
Worse than that, okay, intent to hurt, okay? And then you, instead of looking at your back, I don't want to swear, but looking at your backside, okay, you wipe the guy out, and then you start leaking down the field in the seam. And now look at, I'm looking at a square and I'm looking at a post. I'm looking at hitting the 14-yard crossing route. Okay, I could stay in that because then I know Bull's going to wipe out the defensive end.
Taking
and
his
then
ass
I
out.
know he's like literally right there, and I could just do this instead of giving up. And that little subtlety right there needs to really be taught from the off-season and training camp.
We're not going to switch
You
gears.
can implement some of it. You can implement some of it, but you have to believe in that.
Bernie, I know that your area of expertise is what you just dove into. I could literally listen to you talk X's and O's and theories and philosophies on the game all day long. But you played it long enough to know that there's a lot of politics going on behind the scenes. There's this camp, there's that camp. I'm going to throw my theory by you, and I'd love to get your thoughts on it. I think Kevin Stefanski is too good of a football man to stick with something like this that he didn't want in the first place and he knows isn't working. I also believe his hand is being forced by the owner or the GM, whoever's delivering that message. But the biggest part to my theory is that Paul DePodesta has the most power in this kingdom. And he's sitting in his ivory tower in San Diego. He's devising game plans, and he's made the decision, you're not winning in this league if you're not running this offense, which may have been true 3 years ago, but you can tell the league has pivoted. I feel that Jimmy is so entrenched with DePodesta's voice in his head and he also has a quarterback who's saying, yeah, I can be good in the spread. I feel like that's what's going on behind the scenes. Am I nuts?
So, I'm a fan of Paul DePodesta.
I know you are.
I get to talk with him. I enjoy. I'm despite me being an old school football guy, I was a math major, so I believe I was a data analytics guy before there was data analytics. So to me, that's a common component of the game that I believe should be used and is instrumental. And now, just like anything, though, you got to be. It's a piece of it, not the whole piece.
It's how you use it.
Yeah, and I do like how he's using it, but you hit it on a really good point. What the numbers said and what you should do, okay, especially with the spread, you use the time duration of 3 years. That's pretty good. I would say the spread philosophy, no tight ends, no fullbacks,
right,
was a philosophy 7 years ago when David Njoku was picked with the 27th, 28th pick of the draft 8 years ago. You were like the heresy to use a pick on a tight end in the first round, and you were the antichrist if you had a fullback on your roster. Hey, so the analytics were one way then. Then it did. I wanted it to change back then, and I was hard into tight ends. That's why, not because of the University of Miami, did I love the David Njoku pick, and I've been all in on him through his career with it, but also because I saw the game needed to change. You can't. Gary Danielson told me in 1986 when we put the spread no back in, and I had Ernest Biner and Kevin Mack, and I'm putting them both out on the sidelines running friggin' smashes and hitches. Like, in what world does that make any sense at all? Where Junior Seau was ripping right up the field and Chip Banks on me. Okay, like there's no way that could work. And Gary Danielson said, yeah, you'll have the shortest career ever. You'll be dead by that. And that worked for a little bit, and that worked for a little bit back in 2013, 14, but it's evolved, and it's evolving again. So I do believe guys like Paul DePodesta and the data analytics aren't married to the spread offense. They're married to the evolution that's coming. So I really think.
So you think this then is being demanded by Deshaun?
Well, I don't say demanded. I demanded, like I had a thing. I did not know how to turn my back to the defense and play action pass. I was a completely inflexible human when it came to that. But I love play action. But then all of a sudden, well, turn your back and put your butt to the weak safety and take your head down and fake and take your eyes off the field, and that didn't compute to me.
Yeah.
And I was stubbornly stupid and disruptive to my coaches about that, and then realized I needed to do that. Okay, I had to add that to my game. Deshaun needs to add that to his game.
But to the original we started with here, wouldn't Jameis be better at doing that? Wouldn't he fit what Kevin Stefanski really wants to do better?
Well, if you believe that, like if I'm the quarterback and you told me to come back, and I'm trying to put myself in Deshaun's shoes right now, and you sat down with me and we talked about this, like this, I would think Deshaun would be good with it and he would be fine running that. It's a question of, these are the plays we're running, okay? This is what we're going to do, okay? These other plays aren't getting run. And so help me God, if Nick Chubb comes back and we spread him out wide to run a hitch, okay, that's not should not be on the horizon. So, like if you just, again, nothing's going to be perfect in the short run. Even just putting Deshaun down and putting Jameis in, there's inherent flaws within the team right now. I know we think we're the greatest on paper roster in the league. We have really some fantastic players, but the league's really good. Our depth and our roster isn't head and shoulders better than everybody else, so there's still flaws even when you make the move.
I got a question, but Earl, go ahead with a read first.
Yeah, let's get a read in, and it's a good time to let everybody know that this segment of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show with Bernie Kosar is brought to you by Robinhood. With Robinhood Gold, you don't need a silver spoon to eat up the financial favors of the 1%. Robinhood Gold allows others to get the risks and perks usually reserved for the high society. Now the resourceful individual with Robinhood Go can earn very liberal rate of 4.5% average per year on uninvested cash, receive unlimited 1% deposit bonuses, and be rewarded with a handsome 3% retirement boost on an IRA account. Robinhood Go provides the privilege of a high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits are now available for only $5 a month. New gold standards is here with Robin Go. Sign up at robinhood.com/go. Terms apply. For product-specific disclosures, visit robinhood.com/go. Investing involves risk. Rate might change. Gold members is offered by Robinhood Go LLC.
So Bernie, I just did a episode of Ultimate Browns. Make sure you guys check that out. It'll be at 5:00. Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk was talking with somebody. I forget who it was, but he talked about the guy was saying that they were trying to get to what happened to Deshaun Watson. Why in this process? How did he go from this to this? And he was trying to give an example of how he juxtaposed what he's doing now as to what he was doing in Houston. And he told a story about a general manager who said he was at a practice while Deshaun was in Houston with Bill O'Brien, and he explained it to him that they were watching practice, and during the practice while Deshaun was calling the plays, he said he was looking back and forth to Bill O'Brien, and Bill O'Brien would tell him certain things, and then he would snap the play. And he said there was different things that Bill O'Brien from the sidelines he would look and was giving him instructions on basic things that, he said that most quarterbacks should be doing by themselves at that time. Most quarterbacks would be more along in the process than be looking at the coach. I didn't know what he was trying to say, and so you're the perfect person to ask. I'm trying to decipher what exactly does that mean. What could have been that Deshaun was looking at Bill O'Brien for when it came to certain parts of the play, the scheme, and before you throw the ball? What is your theory on that?
So I'm listening to that really good question, and I'm thinking of something humorous. That's why I'm smiling. So I know we may have something to do at noon. So it's been a sour day on the football front, a fun day on the Guardians front. So if you need a levity story that potentially may get me fired with the big boss Steve here today, I would like to be invited back. But I hadn't heard that. Okay, but to the Deshaun Bill O'Brien coaching from the sidelines. But one of the really big things that I would not be able to help myself, okay, and I would do some, and that's why I'm really good with signals and eye contact and stuff like that, to be able to still to this day talk to certain quarterbacks and people without talking to them from the sideline. And this is always a fade. The Rock is always a takeoff, and you're going to get that, you corners who like to squat, and you'll be told that too, okay? But I hadn't heard that, and I would like to kind of view that, and that's one of my issues even at the end of my career. I couldn't stand, okay, the microphone on my head, because coaches can't help themselves, and they want to talk to you and coach you up and tell you helpers. And when I was the quarterback with the Browns, we didn't have that. I was a little more in charge and confident in myself, whereas at the end of your career, you're trying to hang on at times. So you didn't maybe have that confidence, and in turn, you don't have that pull. So in turn, you maybe listen to the coaches to appear to be nice on it. So I don't know if it's that, but if it is some things, like maybe because of lack of knowledge of that, I haven't heard that. I don't see that when I see him. But young quarterbacks, I say that as a point. That was 1994, 5, and 6 where that stuff happened to me. So Deshaun wasn't even really born then.
Yeah.
So all of these quarterbacks now have grown up with microphones in their head.
Yeah,
they're always told stuff. Like, it's a crutch, okay? Like, and it's not just Deshaun. All these young quarterbacks, like, I had to know that stuff. I was out there on my own. And I needed, and I still to this day, I need quiet for 10 seconds to process anything, to make a decision on what to do. So that becomes not your crutch if you're groomed another way by needing that. And if that's the case, then you still need to have who. I watch the sideline stuff. I don't see him getting that type stuff on the sideline. But there is stuff like I can see, like I wanted to put myself on the sideline this past week. And when I see press coverage, I want to yell and throw up the rock, okay?
Yeah.
All that crap's going on in the middle of the field. Okay, let me throw a bomb to my outside receiver.
By the way, how did you get any quiet when you were playing with Leroy Horde? Did he actually stop talking?
Leroy actually, see, that's the amazing thing, was we had such good, like, respect.
Yeah.
That literally, even Leroy was quiet enough.
Wow. That's impossible.
Hey, one last question quickly before we let you go. Yesterday on Channel 3, I read the definition of insanity as we know it. It's when you keep doing the same thing, but expect different results. If we see Sunday what we've seen the first 5 weeks, there's no way we can't have change after that, is there? You can't be 1-5 and then and roll that same pile of garbage out in week 7.
So I like how Coach Kevin says, let's win the week, let's worry about this week and go 1-0 this week, and let's not worry hard about that, as because I want to tell you what I hope is a funny, humorous story that's factual. That if that happens, though, those are things that you have to start thinking about. You know, you have to start thinking about that stuff. But more so, you have to really start thinking about what you're going to do, even with changes like that, and what you're going to do, who your personality is. Because to your uncertainty of who to pick up and pass block, it's not going to get better while we're a Sybil personality with multiple personalities right now. We need to get one personality. And
that's great. I'm going to read one stat to you that really stood out to me this week. Which boggles my mind. I said Kevin Stefanski's smarter than, at least the three of us put together, and maybe on Bernie's par. But here's a stat that says, okay, so how do you keep going with this? I had to read it twice to make sure it was right. Watson has now registered 5 straight games with 25 or more pass attempts and fewer than 200 yards passing in all 5 games. That is tied for the longest such streak to start a season in the past 75 years.
Oh, my God.
It's not bad now. It's not bad historically for the Browns since the return. It's bad, period, historically in the NFL. And if that happens again, that to me, that is insanity. If you're going to put that out there in week 7 and try it again, maybe it'll work now.
So what's not going to work, and I'm not trying to be Nostradamus and predict the future, okay, but it's not going to work against, I believe, this Philadelphia team to be spread the whole game. So if rolling the same thing out means rolling it out with no backs and one back and minimal tight ends,
it's done.
Then issues and negativeness is going to be the talk of the next few days for that. I don't believe we're going to just put the flag up and go run 45 spread shotgun plays. I hope I don't spend my Sunday afternoon, wanting to impale myself with a butter knife, watching stuff like that. Okay, Hey, it is here. I know you guys got to get rid of me here for the noon stuff. Is here on another levity.
What's the funny story?
So I think it's funny, but I am, and I'm not saying this to look good. I put way too much emphasis on the winning and losing. And when I was absolutely responsible for winning and losing, and I was the quarterback of these teams, I was a borderline dictator. And I wanted everybody to remember me as a nice spiritual healer, community, and open-minded and stuff. But that is not the human that leads football men, okay? And that isn't the personality that you have to have. So when I like to sort of have fun, I guess I say, but really my fun is derived from winning games and that, and everything else is hopefully to get to these winning games. So that being said, Philadelphia in the old days was a team that I used to play a lot against, and you get preparation to go there. And Philadelphia and this used to do, and in the old days, everything was fair to distract and get you off of your game. So whatever you did,
in terms of trash talking,
anything.
Oh,
I
anything. Right,
steal
true.
your signals.
Yeah.
I can mess with you. I get in your head. Whatever. I take your paths. Whatever. Anything goes. So to distract and get guys off, Philadelphia was notorious for trying to sidetrack you, where they had the cheerleaders' locker room next to the visiting locker room. Okay? So and then the Eagles did this. They put a hole in the training room from the visiting locker room into the training room of the cheerleaders' locker room.
Wow, selling out their girls.
My
So
God,
everybody,
that's an arrest right there.
Yeah, probably today
Yeah.
this is inappropriate. And,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying this because of the Me Too, and I'm
Right,
not
yeah.
saying this to just be a good guy. I was really saying it because I want to win these football games. So I would go to guys, and the young guys, everybody's all excited. Been in 2 days, been locked up in a friggin' hotels with a bunch of you knuckleheads, sleeping with you guys for 6 weeks. We used to have 5 preseason games, and all of a sudden you're in Philly. You got a line of guys trying to look there. And I literally, again, I'm not saying this to look good, I could not stand my linemen. Okay, and receivers, like in line looking. So I would not let any of my linemen go look at the people. And they're like, because I don't want no distractions. And I'm like,
Eyes on the prize, guys.
eyes on the prize.
Well,
I'm
wait
like,
a second. These guys outweighed you by a lot. How did you stop them? What'd you do?
Well, because back then you could get guys cut immediately. Okay, back then you're gone. You are gone.
This is Bernie.
Damn!
You are
This is
gone.
Bernie Kosar.
That's true, that's
true. Wait.
Who calls his own plays?
That's true, you're right.
Talk about
You're
it.
right.
No,
Yeah,
I
fair.
mean,
Yeah.
we got guys. I
Bye.
mean, you got Philadelphia was so bad with the field. I mean, you can get torn ACL, you rip your legs, you get the concussions. It was like concrete.
Parking lot.
And then these guys, we struggled with some of the lines I had. I had some really good lines, but I had some lines that struggled. And I'm like, oh my God, you guys are, like, to your point, communication issues. You're not picking up the TT game, TE game, a blitz. Oh my God, we melt, okay? And you're going to have blood in it, okay? You're going to be peeking in there. You're going to, like,
You're thinking about that instead of the
you're
game.
you're going to go to IR next week with a crack Johnson? Like, come on. Jesus, God.
So you're grabbing the offensive line. I want to cut your ass right out of here.
Oh, yeah, that is exactly.
I have an image of Bernie guarding the people. Out, guys, out.
Yeah, you're
That's
going to go.
fantastic.
Filling in the peepholes with
I
like
think
cotton balls.
So they got a new stadium.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's been stuff around the league with voyeurism and stuff. So it's not in Philadelphia anymore. So our team could go there, not know what I'm talking about.
So we can take that
and
off
they
the list of
that
worries.
That won't be one of the distractions that causes any happiness or unhappiness on
we go.
Sunday
All right.
afternoon.
Bernie, great stuff, man.
Yeah, thanks,
Always good
Bernie.
to see you.
Thanks, guys. Am I invited back now?
Of course you are. Enjoy the Guardians game tomorrow.
Go Guards, man.
And
Go
the
Guards.
Browns game on
Bring
Sunday.
the Yankees on.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Gotta
I
get
want
this
that, yeah.
first. Bernie, thanks.
Thanks,
Appreciate
guys.
you,
Thanks,
man.
Bernie.